Imagine a world where clean energy is the norm and the collaboration between stakeholders is the driving force behind it. As you might guess, that world doesn't exist. Okay, yes, Finland is doing quite well, with a third of our home's heating come from district heating. However, the UK and Ireland are lagging behind. The majority of their heating comes from gas and oil, which is among the most polluting fuel types. It's a huge problem that Fortum now aims to solve with their district heating technology and expertise. So they asked us to make a go-to-market plan, and quite early on in this process, we realized that the key to success is not only about Fortum's technology and expertise, it's about understanding the people, the local stakeholders. Therefore, we went ahead to the UK and Ireland and talked with these stakeholders from various groups such as associations, the government, and education institutes. And we found out that they share very similar needs. 1, being clean and reliable energy. 2, affordable, stable prices and low risks. And 3, efficient communication and information flows. Hate to spoil it to you, but these needs are not fulfilled. And that's because the stakeholder relations in the UK and Ireland look something like this. A hot mess. There's no cohesion or communication happening between the stakeholders, which drastically slows down the decision-making and the implementation of new district heating networks. But what if we could change that? What if there was a way to connect the stakeholders so that they can better collaborate and communicate towards this common goal of sustainable heating solutions? That leaves us with the crucial question of how can we make this reality?
To solve the how, we have to take a look at the core things that need to be done, the core purpose of the solution. So first of all, we have to connect the stakeholders and improve the communication between them. This often requires centralizing information. And of course, we have to accelerate decision-making and implementation of district heating. Well, presenting our solution, Fortum Connect, the platform that bridges the gap between different stakeholders in heating industry and provides them with the tools and resources they need to work and communicate together efficiently. So let's take a look at the dynamics of the platform. Users can add data. For example, the government can tell more about their subsidy programs, and then the data is filtered based on relevance and shown to all of the stakeholders that really needed to make informed decisions. But what's in for the stakeholders, you might ask? Why would they join the platform and share potentially secret information? Well, in addition to faster communication and the sharing of knowledge, the platform will make it easier to find a perfect match for everyone's needs. For example, the implementation companies will find the projects that suit their skill set the most. Let's take a quick look at our prototype from Fortum's point of view. One feature would be list of cities. Here, if you press for London, you can see easily the overview of the city, population, etc., and financial stuff, for example, the budget they have for green city development. So to sum it all up, Fortum Connect connects the stakeholders, centralizes information, improves communication flows, and most importantly, helps to accelerate decision-making and implementation of district heating to solve the crucial problems of today. From a hot mess to a cool solution. That's what happens when the stakeholders of heating industry come together. Thank you, and welcome to our booth to chat more.
Sustainability transformation is the biggest challenge companies are facing. But while many are attempting to do it, most companies are failing. We believe sustainability goals can become concrete value for real customers. Now, most of you might be unfamiliar with Kemira's products, but the truth is they are everywhere. Take this paper cup, for example, or any paper packaging or Amazon delivery box. To make things like this, Mehta, one of Kemira's clients, has to harvest wood and transform it through a very complex process. Kemira's chemicals enable the transformation of raw materials into something you and I can use. And in doing so, they enable resource efficiency, meaning companies like Mehta has to use less trees to produce this single paper cup. But there is a problem. Our way of doing things is not sustainable, and too often the cost of becoming sustainable is too high and the process too complex. At the same time, stricter legislation and consumer demands are pushing companies to take action now. So, Kemira's clients are basically in a lose-lose situation. They either spend more money to improve their processes and supplies, or lose money because they are not sustainable enough and have to pay higher tax rates and fines. The good news is, Kemira has developed new chemicals that enable their clients to accelerate their transition to become more sustainable. The bad news is, nobody knows about this. So basically, Kemira is facing a classic Finnish challenge. They have amazing products, but they don't know how to sell them.
So to help Kemira address this challenge, we introduced the Sustainability Impact Calculator, an integrated digital platform where Kemira can clearly communicate the impact that their sustainable product have on their customer sustainability target, and how making this switch is actually profitable instead of more expensive. So first, we need to define a framework in collaboration with our client. So let's imagine we are Kemira's sales team trying to sell sustainable product to a paper company. In the pulp and paper industry, there are over 60 KPIs companies use to measure how sustainable they are. So we select the KPI that the paper company currently use in their sustainability report. From our research, we know that Kemira clients have very diverse processes, even in the same industry. So in the next step, we will identify the paper company factory specific trait, and in the future, this process can be automated by integrating both Kemira and the paper company databases. We then analyze every single step in the life cycle of the customer and calculate the impact of one chemical for each of those steps versus the traditional alternative. Finally, we visualize the data using the same KPI we selected with our client before and highlight the benefits of sustainable chemical. Adding the return on investment and concrete monetary impact that the paper company would obtain by switching into sustainable chemistry. In the end, selling sustainability, it's all about communication. If you want to know more about our prototype or the implementation roadmap, come and visit us at our booth over there. Thank you.
What does sustainability in banking mean to you? I know, it can be difficult. Actually, according to Nordea's research, 45% of their customers have no clue what sustainability in banking means, so you're not alone. There's this buzzword green banking that is used to refer to sustainability in the banking field. But what exactly does it mean? Green banking is not just about the environment. It's about financial institutions promoting sustainability and social responsibility while also empowering their customers to act more sustainably. But how can you be sure that your bank is taking meaningful actions towards sustainability and not just greenwashing to appear more sustainable?
Nordea is already doing a lot in terms of sustainability and social responsibility. For example, actively decarbonizing their investment portfolio and organizing free school workshops to teach kids about basic finance. But Nordea's commitment to sustainability is most visible in the stakeholder reports and website. These are not effective ways to reach the youth. The youth are a diverse group of customers with different financial situations, needs, and backgrounds. Many demand transparency from their bank to understand how they're promoting sustainability. For others, sustainability is all about personal consumption choices, and especially the youngest consumers would welcome more help from the bank to understand personal finance. But in general, most of them want their bank to help them be more sustainable.
Our research revealed that mobile banking is the primary channel to reach the youth. They value a great mobile experience and even considered switching banks just for a better app. That is why in our solution, we explore new innovative ways to engage them through mobile banking. With the user's needs in mind, we integrate new features into daily banking to create a seamless mobile experience that supports young customers' financial well-being and sustainability goals. Introducing Impact Hub and Learning Hub.
The Impact Hub helps users understand their sustainability with a personal impact score. With the detailed breakdown, they can see how sustainable their consumption and investments are, and tips on how to improve their score. The ability to compare yourself to others like you and the Paris Agreement goal creates a sense of community that motivates users to do better, as well as making sustainability more tangible and actionable.
But what is the bank doing, you might ask? It is not enough to just empower users to be more sustainable. They want to see how their bank is promoting sustainability through relevant metrics and concrete examples. The impact score for Nordea shows their efforts on sustainability in comparison to global goals. This makes Nordea's sustainability more tangible and builds trust in customers through transparency. Next, to the Learning Hub.
The Learning Hub improves users' overall financial literacy and sustainability knowledge to relevant bite-sized education. This caters to the different needs of the users and helps them make better financial decisions. Through gamified and interactive lessons, the Learning Hub makes financial education more engaging, which is essential for maintaining the interest and attention of the youth. Learning becomes quick, fun, and effective while supporting users towards better banking.
By making personal sustainability more actionable, Nordea's sustainability more tangible, and providing the relevant education on these topics, we can bridge the gap between Nordea and their customers. Sustainability is not just about individual actions, but collective efforts. Our solution creates a sense of community, allowing customers and Nordea to begin their journey towards a more sustainable future together. We're excited to invite you to our booth to meet the team and explore our solution in more detail. Thank you.
Thank you.
Imagine being a high school teacher. You have to plan and provide engaging lectures, as well as fight for the attention in a classroom full of students, and provide enough support for individual learning. On top of all of this, you are not given enough resources to manage everything during your workdays. Thus, the work is overflowing to your free time. This is exhausting, right? But unfortunately is currently the situation in Finland, which high school teachers face. We interviewed high school teachers and conducted a survey through which we figure out the following pain points. Students of today can be at very different levels on their learning journeys. However, the materials are not designed to fit the different needs, even though it is currently required by our curriculum. Also, we figured out that materials are not engaging enough for today's youth, who are constantly spending time in interactive and super well-designed platforms such as TikTok and Snapchat. Lastly, we figured out that in the first years of their careers, high school teachers may feel a bit insecure due to the lack of experience. Also, they might not know how to get the most out of the materials. Because of these challenges, teachers spend too much time creating their own materials, and this valuable time is obviously taken from their free time. Every student, no matter what background they have, has an equal right to learn, but not at the expense of the teacher's well-being.
So this is why we created Aina, to be always with you and supporting you in teaching. Aina is a tool that uses artificial intelligence to help teachers in their work by generating customized teaching materials. It has been trained with Otava's database, which means that it can produce a limitless amount of reliable materials based on the books that schools have bought licenses to. And like ChatGPT, the teachers can communicate with Aina through open-ended questions or by selecting specific features to complete tasks, like in this Swedish exercise.
Aina is most effective at creating differentiated exercises, lesson plans, and summaries, which you can take a look at our booth. And with its features, Aina makes it easier to create personalized materials, and it supports individual learning of the students. Aina frees up the time spent in creating these extra materials manually, so teachers can prioritize their well-being. Aina could operate on a subscription model and be integrated in Otava Learning's current platform. The growth of AI has been beyond exponential, so there are questions that need to be addressed so that Aina can be executed. For example, practices regarding licensing and legal questions in intellectual property rights. But if these opportunities are explored, we believe that Aina could support long-term profits from subscriptions, increased engagement of current users, and attraction of new ones. And Otava may enhance its brand image to a modern, technology-driven service provider. With Aina, Otava could gain a huge competitive advantage in the Finnish market and potentially sell the disruptive technology globally. But most importantly, Aina is designed for the teachers. It takes care of generating the materials they need so they can focus on what matters the most: teaching.
Hey, we are the gardeners, and our challenge is how to scale up aeroponic potato farming. And you might think now, what the hell is she talking about? In aeroponic farming, roots are hanging in air and are sprayed with mist each couple of minutes, and this mist contains all the nutrients the plant needs. Benefits are that these systems need less resources and can produce higher yield, but currently companies are mainly focusing on growing lettuce, but salad does not feed the population. So we wondered, why do aeroponic systems not scale up for other products, for example, for potatoes? The tech-based farmer faces challenges like a lack in plant knowledge and a lack in visibility in the complex aeroponic potato system. The majority of the system is hidden for the human eye, and especially potatoes can grow extensive root systems that are hard to monitor. But if there are issues in these systems, the plants can start to die already within a couple of minutes. So the farmer needs to be aware of the health stages of the plant at all times. But how do you monitor all these modules as a professional aeroponic farmer? This is not only time-consuming, but also with every human interaction you increase the risk of spreading pests into this whole system. And this monitoring is only one of many steps a farmer has to do to react to issues. And currently, the reaction time is too slow to prevent crop loss. So in our solution, we bring all the steps together to decrease the reaction time. And thereby, we can decrease the risk for crop loss and make aeroponic potato farming more reliable, profitable, and scalable.
So, our solution is an IoT system that uses imaging technology to capture real-time data from the plant roots. And our software transforms the data into insights and action recommendations for the farmer. The value for the user is created through our app that enables fast reaction time and treatment for these issues in the system. Let's imagine that the farmer is working in his aeroponic farm, and suddenly our app sends an alarm to his phone that one of his plants is dehydrated and this needs to be treated in 15 minutes. Now he needs to know where the issue is located from all of his aeroponic systems, and he can check that from the mapping of his farm in our app. Then he needs to know what the issue is in order to have the right treatment actions to prevent the rapid crop losses. And in more complex problems, he can contact experts and peers to get support to treat these issues in the system. Also, our app provides treatment suggestions which will be beneficial when treating these complex problems or when new employees are trained. Therefore, with our app, we're able to make our aeroponic system less fragile by enabling fast reaction time from the farmers. So, we welcome you to explore our prototype in our booth and experience the farmer's journey.
Hello everyone, my name is Kalle.
And my name is Merika. We are Team Port 6 and we're here to tell you how an augmented reality company can help improve some of the most fundamental human needs.
So, Port 6 is a startup that works on human-technology interaction. They have developed a touch detection technology that enables the users to turn their hands into powerful controllers. But how might this be applied, you ask? Well, Port 6 sent us on a mission to have a look outside of the box. Sounds pretty straightforward, right, Merika?
Well, during the past 7 months, we've been looking into various use case areas: entertainment, industrial, accessibility, you name it. However, we wanted to explore an area where we can actually improve people's quality of life, independence, and autonomy. Therefore, we landed on the area of accessibility and inclusion of disabled people. We have interviewed various disability associations and experienced experts, as well as made significant secondary research to validate our findings. What we found out is that a significant barrier to people's independence and autonomy are limitations in fine motor skills.
Many of the tools and technologies we use every day requires the usage of the small muscles in the hands and wrists. In other words, fine motor skills. This is something millions of people struggle with, for example, stroke patients or the elderly. Fine motor skills can be learned and developed through fine motor skill physiotherapy. However, unfortunately at the moment, the progression is not as fast as it should be, due mainly to the lack of motivation of practice.
To demonstrate the issue, we are introducing you to Amanda. Amanda is a stroke patient who has suffered partial paralysis on her body. To regain her fine motor skills to be able to finish basic everyday tasks, she's undergoing physiotherapy. However, she finds the physiotherapy exercises tedious, decreasing her motivation drastically. In her therapy progress, she would need more motivation, more engagement, and the possibility to track her progress.
This issue brought us to the redefined challenge that we had. How could Port 6's technology be applied to something that makes physiotherapy more engaging and motivational? So, this question does not only concern Amanda. Currently, millions of people would benefit from a more motivating fine motor skill physiotherapy. This issue has severe effects on quality of life, and it's as well very expensive for the society. Our solution for this is a gamified rehabilitation tool that tracks your hand gestures, and it could look something like that.
In Amanda's case, this would mean her having a gamified physiotherapy solution to finish her exercises. A game that would motivate her to do the movements, let her track her progress, and also make it possible for her to get peer support from other people. And with this approach, we could make physiotherapy more engaging and sociable compared to the now monotonous and solitary exercises done at home.
That's why we propose that Port 6 sets up a subscription-based API business model, and through this API, Port 6 could sell their accessibility software development kit to third parties. The market is promising due to its big size and due to the growing interest in gamified physiotherapy solutions.
So, by bringing Port 6's technology to the market, we can help give people more confidence and capabilities in their movement, guiding towards a better everyday life.
We wish that you come to our desk upstairs and try our game. Thank you a lot.
Thank you for your attention.
Chumabe, everyone. Hello. So what you see in the pictures here are farmers, people who rely on farming for their income. This is how they pay for their everyday lives. This is how they pay for their meals. This is how they pay for their children's education. However, they live in a very unstable market, so they might not always be able to sell their produce or get the fair price, leading to them not being able to sustain themselves or their families. Luckily, there is a way to overcome this, and that's by doing things together, collectively. So we set course to Northern Uganda to investigate how might we help with strengthening collective farming in this region. We spent almost 3 weeks speaking to over 200 farmers, discussing on why collective farming might not be the obvious choice for everyone. And the problem pretty much starts here. There's a lot of people and little coordination. Messages does not always get through. We have the union, the one providing the market, trainings, and affordable supplies for farming. They consist of cooperatives, groups of farmers planning the farming processes together and supporting each other. And then lastly, we have the farmers, 11,000 in total. They are pretty much the essence of it all. They are the middle, and they need to be the driving force to make things happen. But how can we keep these farmers active in these collective structures? In our discussion, it became clear pretty quickly that active groups share something in common. They all have good leadership. The leaders are trustful, and they are good at planning. They have good communication. The messages are clear, they get through, and people are updated on what's happening. And they have access to knowledge. People attend trainings, and they have practices of sharing these trainings with each other. So with these 3 insights, we started to think, would we be able to replicate this, build something concrete, a tool pretty much that would excel every cooperative, any farmer within these 3 themes? So we came up with the Farmholder box. Let's have a look on what's inside the box. The Farmholder box helps with planning and communicating on what's happening today, tomorrow, next week. Here you can see who's in charge of what and whom to contact if so needed. It also creates a new way for farmers to give direct, anonymous feedback to their leaders and the union, and it has a designated place to store retained knowledge. We also made a digital replica of this solution to also stimulate the digitalization among the farmers in case there would be need for a scale-up and the infrastructure is there. The Farmholder box now creates this new forum where all the parties meet, but it also leaves room for other partners to join. For example, other NGOs, government with their training material. And the Farmholder box does not only now potentially help 11,000 farmers and their families, we also introduce new concepts to the region that might not be that familiar. For example, proper project management tools or libraries, for example. So with the Farmholder box, we think that we can activate farmers and strengthen collective farming. If you're interested in hearing more, come to our booth, test our prototypes. Thank you so much. Afoyo.
Bzzz is a sound we are all very familiar with. But have you ever stopped to wonder about honeybees and beekeeping? Beekeeping is a practice as old as time. Yet, today, our beekeepers across the world are struggling to keep their bees alive due to climate change, forcing beekeepers to fight against the spread of pests and unpredictable seasons. One of the biggest problems are varroa mites, these little pests that climb on the bee, making them weak. Once they enter the beehive, they go straight for the larva, infecting it with different disease, causing newborn bees to have different disabilities, such as deformed wings. A second problem they are facing is climate fluctuation. This makes bees leave their hives too early in the spring, resulting in mass colony deaths, once the cold weather returns. Beekeepers are struggling, like we stated, and they are doing their best, however. Just to name a few of their tasks include regular hive visits, heavy lifting, and applying pesticides based on a hunch of the beekeeper, depending how many varroa mites they detected with their own eyes. And when it comes to climate fluctuation, there's not much one can do except hope for the best. We talked to the beekeepers and they asked us to please solve these issues, as current solutions are too expensive, not efficient or working, require too much chemicals, and old ways are simply no longer working. They also feel like they have to sacrifice some of their bees with current solutions and methods, still having to face the fact that they lose some of their hives during winter. Something needs to change. Solutions are needed today. Yet, it's not an easy task as we are faced with a somewhat conservative market that asks and demands the solution to be cost-efficient, easy to use, and durable in the outdoors. It also needs to actually work and provide results in a short period of time. And this is where our team steps in. We have created a solution, a modular device that is easy to upkeep and insert to the entrance of the beehive. The device consists of 3 parts: the sensors module, a tunnel system, and a varroa mite treatment module. Together, our solution looks like this. We have a gateway. The tunnels allow the bees to enter and exit the beehive freely. Underneath, we have a tray filled with a chemical that attracts the varroa mites in. Once the bees are flying through the tunnels, the varroa mites on them will sense this chemical and jump right down to the tray through the slits provided in the tunnels. This way, we have a varroa mite-free beehive. At the back, the sensor module allows beekeepers to monitor their bees' activities from a distance while also prepare for possible climate fluctuations. The device will be provided to beekeepers through beekeeping associations, leaving the user the need to purchase the wanted sensors and the chemical themselves. This allows beekeepers to easily access and test out different innovative solutions that increase the well-being of their bees. Here is our team, and our goal was to develop alternative beekeeping practices in the changing times. Stop by our booth upstairs to check out our device in an actual beehive. Bees out.
So Paula, what is Design Reimagined?
It is revolutionizing the beans in Zambia. Could you imagine using 6 hours every day for cooking to get your daily protein intake? Probably not, because that's not something you would normally do. In Zambia, however, people spend 6 hours to cook raw beans to get their daily protein intake. Why? Because that's how they're used to preparing the beans, and secondly, because beans are one of the most affordable sources of protein compared to all the other alternatives. Our client, Trinity Super Nutrition, created a product, Suba Beans, that makes cooking beans convenient and affordable. Because these beans are pre-cooked and dehydrated, it only takes 20 minutes to cook them, compared to 6 hours. Now, Peksha, isn't that quite amazing?
Yes, it is.
And even more amazing is that Trinity Super Nutrition, with this product, is trying to tackle the issue of malnutrition in Zambia that is caused by the lack of nutritious food. Trinity Super Nutrition has been helping a lot of Zambians through selling their product to institutions, but now they want to help everyone. And that is the reason why they are trying to enter the consumer market. But during our field trip to Zambia, we found out that the product might be too different to fit the local cooking practices. And that is the exact reason that is holding Trinity Super Nutrition back from entering the consumer market.
That's where we come in. We designed a probe study for our partner. The aim is to understand consumers' thoughts and experiences regarding super beans. Since low-cost, efficient digital market surveys do not fit the Zambian context, this probe study is the best way to understand consumers' thoughts and feelings about the product. Our probe study is designed for 100 Zambians, and it includes 3 phases. The first phase includes 2 weeks of self-documentation, after which the material is collected. In the second phase, the participants are invited for interviews, and in the last phase, the data is analyzed. The most exciting part about this study is the probe kit. This includes an introduction letter, instructions, a diary with some pens, 2-week supply of super beans, and a measuring cup. To keep the participants engaged throughout the study, our diary includes inspirational tasks for each day that vary from reflecting their cooking experiences to imagining life in 2030. And this is the only way we get insights into their lives and how they use the product. So what is required from Trinity Super Nutrition? This study requires a team of 3 researchers for a period of 3 months, 250 kilos of super beans, and this would cost less than the average market study in Zambia. To truly understand consumers' cooking practices, we must observe their behavior in their natural environment. And this probe study allows Trinity Super Nutrition to gain valuable insights about consumers' thoughts and feelings in real-life settings. And this is the first step in Trinity Super Nutrition in revolutionizing the consumption of beans. Thank you.
A lot of you here have probably designed a product before. At least we know all of the students have. Now, imagine that you put your heart and soul into designing a prototype that you've left to print overnight so that it would be ready for the next day. How would you feel if you came back to this?
This is a failed 3D print. It's a common sight for anyone using a regular desktop 3D printer. Actually, up to 1 in 3 prints can turn out like that. And that is because your usual 3D printer for prototyping and product design is cheap, flimsy, and unreliable.
Mehta Heino's 3D printer solves these problems by producing high-quality prints reliably. You can actually come and witness it at our booth upstairs later. They've also put in a lot of effort to make the printer more easy to use. It takes less than 10 minutes to set up out of the box, and their AI-powered software ensures your prints are successful.
So the product is good, and it solves a real problem. Then what is our role? Through our research, we found that the 3D printing market is highly congested, and with a lot of players, the problem we had to solve for Mehta Heino was how to position their high-end 3D printer in this competitive market.
So, we interviewed various stakeholders, including existing and prospective customers. We found that Mehta Heino's 3D printer is the best fit for smaller companies who want to take their initial idea from a first prototype all the way to a final product. However, a lot of these smaller companies are opting for a lower price point printer instead.
But at the same time, the existing customers of Mehta Heino told us the printer is the best one they have used, and they even use it for small-scale manufacturing. Interestingly, a lot of them had tried out the product before making the decision of buying it. Then we thought, how could we get more customers to try the product, because anyone who had tried it seemed to love it.
So, to help Mehta Heino reach more customers, we tested out many business models and ruled out all of those that wouldn't work one by one. A strong option seemed to be focusing on a niche material, like carbon fiber, but based on competitor analysis and customer interviews, we ended up ruling that one out too. Through this process, though, we came up with a model where the customer gets the printer through a subscription. It's designed especially for small to medium-sized businesses that make physical products.
With these smaller companies, we found that price is a big barrier to buying a high-end 3D printer, especially if you are only trying the technology for the first time. The subscription model lowers these barriers by removing the upfront costs and the long-term commitment. If it doesn't work for you, you can always return the printer, but based on our customer testimonials, we bet that you won't.
In the subscription, the customer gets the printer and the software to run it. They don't even have to worry about maintenance or buying the printing materials. By cutting out the upfront costs and lowering the threshold to adopting a new 3D printer, Mehta Heino is able to address a larger market. A potential area for growth could be markets where access to capital is lower and upfront costs create a bigger barrier, for example, Eastern Europe or Asia. Mehta Heino's 3D printers can enable businesses anywhere to turn their ideas into reality and even follow through into small-scale manufacturing with no upfront cost.
So you still remember the failed print? We made this so that no engineer in a small firm would have to wake up to that.
Have you ever thought about the cultural significance behind the clothes that you are wearing? Clothing is not only a great way to express your identity, but also a great way to express your cultural background. For our EDUCASE Aalto Global Impact project, we traveled to India, to the Swakuchi silk village in Assam, to look at the making of traditional Assamese silk clothing. We went there to uncover the different tensions and problems existing in the Indian silk industry, together with the Indian Institute of Technology in Guwahati. When we were in the Swakuchi silk village, we looked into the whole process of silk making and spoke to the different people who worked there. From our field research, we found out that the Indian silk industry is generally very unorganized and tied to old traditions, and there's a strong unwillingness towards change and modernization. We also found out that there's a type of silk that is specific only to the Assam region, that is called Muga silk. It quickly became clear to us that this type of Muga silk has a strong cultural significance to the people in Assam, as it has been made there for many generations and was even previously worn by royals. It was also explained to us that this type of Muga silk has many unique qualities, the most distinct one being that it is naturally golden and gets even more golden with time. The texture of Muga silk is actually quite rough, and the fabric can feel similar to paper, but with wear it becomes softer. The fabric made from Muga silk is also very durable and can last for many generations. So the question is, why is Muga silk not more popular and widely known?
Well, the majority of Indians outside Assam are not aware of the culture and the value behind the Muga silk, as Assam is remote from the rest of India. Muga silks are generally worn and purchased by those who belong to a higher class because of the price and rarity. So people usually wear these dresses only on important events such as weddings, and they wear it only for a few times and purchase a new one. Apart from that, Muga silk is exclusively produced in Assam, and it hasn't been any larger attempts to sell it outside the region. The making of Muga silk is also a very slow and tedious process, as the silk is very fragile and delicately reeled by hand from Muga silkworm cocoons. So it breaks easily, and these broken Muga threads are usually unusable and thrown out afterwards. So we propose utilizing these broken Muga thread as a motif on different kinds of clothing and products, such as shirts or pillowcases. And in this way, we could turn broken Muga thread into gold. So on the product would be in the collaboration with a local Indian lifestyle and fashion brand. And the motif used would be the traditional Assamese pattern often used on the Muga silk product. So in this way, instead of waiting for a special occasion, customers could enjoy Muga silk product in their everyday life. On the product, we would add a GI tag, which is a geographical indication tag. It is a tag often used on the product that have specific geographical origin or reputation that is specific to that area. And on the GI tag, we would communicate the Assam's origin and the cultural importance behind the Muga silk. Utilizing this broken Muga thread in this way would bring value to different stakeholders involved. So the handloom owners will get more sales, the weavers would get higher salaries, and the Swakuchi silk community will be more known. And most importantly, Muga silk will be acknowledged, appreciated, and accessible. So here in Swakuchi is where we started our journey, and let's see where it takes us. Thank you.